Today, we journey to a place steeped in mystery and darkness, Mount Hermon. According to the Book of Enoch, a dark secret shrouds Mount Hermon, a majestic peak near Israel's northern border. The text recounts the descent of the Watchers, 200 angelic beings who rebelled against God under the leadership of Samyaza and Azazel. Their transgression involved taking human wives, an act considered a corruption of both themselves and the earth, Enoch 1:7. This unholy union bore monstrous offspring known as the Nephilim giants who wreaked havoc on the earth. The fallen Watchers, forever tainted by disobedience, became infamous figures associated with the fall from grace. Long before the Greeks arrived, the Canaanites who inhabited the region for centuries held beliefs about Mount Hermon. They revered it as the dwelling place of Baal Hermon, a local deity associated with fertility and storms. Canaanite religious practices often included ritual sacrifices, with some accounts suggesting the disturbing possibility of child sacrifice within carved temples like the Gates of Hell near Caesarea Philippi. These practices further darkened the mountain's history, weaving a narrative of violence and misplaced devotion into the fabric of the land. This legacy of darkness wasn't dispelled with the arrival of the Greeks. Nestled at the foot of Mount Hermon, they refashioned the Canaanite center devoted to Baal Hermon into a sanctuary for Pan, the god of the wild. Pan, depicted with goat legs and a fondness for wild places, was often associated with sensuality and earthly desires. Early Christians, drawing parallels between Pan and pagan fertility cults, sometimes viewed him as a symbolic representation of Satan. The presence of Pan's cave in Caesarea Philippi, situated near the very site of child sacrifice, added another layer of complexity to the already rich tapestry of the region's history. The place became dominated by darkness and earthly desires, sharply contrasting the message of hope and redemption that Jesus would soon bring. It was against this backdrop steeped in rebellion, pagan worship, and unsettling rituals that Jesus arrived in Caesarea Philippi with his disciples. Mark's Gospel recounts a pivotal conversation that unfolded near the city, Mark 8:27-30. Jesus asked the disciples for their thoughts about him and received responses reflecting popular beliefs. Then came the important question, "But who do you say that I am?" Mark 8:29. Peter boldly declared, "You are the Christ." Mark 8:29. This confession, a recognition of Jesus' messianic role prophesied in the Old Testament, marked a turning point in Jesus' ministry. However, Jesus' revelation of his identity wasn't accompanied by promises of earthly glory. He began to speak about his coming suffering and death, a concept the disciples struggled to comprehend. Mark 8:31-33. Standing near the pagan temples of Caesarea Philippi, Jesus declared his intention to build his church. Matthew 16:13-20. Some scholars interpret this statement as a symbolic victory over the forces of evil represented by the city's pagan deities. The gates of Hades, mentioned in the passage, Matthew 16:18, might refer to the temple dedicated to Pan, signifying that the church would prevail against the forces of darkness. The story of Jesus at Caesarea Philippi and Mount Hermon transcends a single historical event. It's a story about confronting darkness in its various forms. Jesus, standing near a mountain tainted by rebellion, a city steeped in pagan practices, and a cave echoing with unsettling rituals, declares his role as the Messiah and establishes his church. His message is one of hope and redemption, a beacon of light illuminating even the most obscure corners. The presence of the Watcher's story, the shadow of Baal, and the legends of Pan's cave add depth to this narrative, reminding us of the ever-present struggle between good and evil, a struggle that Jesus ultimately overcomes. Thanks for joining us as we explored the mysteries of Mount Hermon and Jesus' encounter at Caesarea Philippi. This story raises many questions about good versus evil. What are your thoughts on how Jesus confronted darkness in this location? Share your thoughts in the comments below and hit that subscribe button for more exciting journeys through theology. We'll see you on the next adventure.